Okay, I'm looking at the agenda and it looks like it's my turn, so I had a pretty lengthy one. I've been known, they tell me I usually don't say very much, so I'm going to try to say less than much. I guess when you look at where we've come from and where we're going, progress has been made. It's pretty slow. If we look back historically, it's about 100 years ago, the waterway was stopped as being used as a freightway, and 20 years later, there was a forestry road punched through for purposes of just making it between here and there, and basically hasn't improved a heck of a lot since then, but I shouldn't say there's been improvements. But as an organized group, we continue to see progress since our regrouping in 2012 and 13, and for those that don't know about it, we regrouped, we set up bylaws in the Constitution, and we formalized the election process and so on. And that's when we went to town and got the impact study that we funded slowly by myself. I'd just like to make a comment that over the years I've been chair and party to many economic development organizations and professional organizations as president and so on. And there's no inevitable in groups or in municipalities or whatever. There's always controversy and different points of view. This is the only group I've ever worked with that were 100% on track on everything, and there was never a negative comment. There was always positive support, and that's why we've been able to make the progress that we did. And I'm confident that in terms of where we're at right now, progress is going to be continuing. Our volunteer board helps to serve as the legal entity to help organize our efforts, has set out as end result to see, and I don't know if you've heard this before, but as a board we said, you know, there's got to be a light at the end of the tunnel. We've got to see something, some deadline date, because I personally have been involved in this for 20 years, and some progress has been made. But March 31st, 2021, which we're looking at as being that AGM, that we're looking at saying, well, the completion of all the bridges and the roads in the corridor, this will help lead to, we don't have to keep repeating this, but lead to help enhance regional economic development and international trade for all industries, and for the social wellness of our communities, urban, rural, Métis, First Nations, in creation of jobs and improved access to education opportunities and other services. If I keep talking, it'll sound like what Tony said. Tony hit it right on the head. This is where we're at, and the economic deficit that was created by the lack of this road has to stop. I just want to take a moment. As I said, I'm shortening my report here. It'll be in full length in the written report when they distribute it. But when we did the economic impact study, Praxis did it for us. I'd like to just refresh ourselves or remind ourselves of what this meant in terms of the cost benefits to both provinces and the federal government. It's huge. And I'm going to take a moment and share this information with you. The business case that the practice report showed indicated by making a maximum case investment in completing the roadway to a 12-month primary weight dust-free highway can lead to a 7.2 billion tax revenue, 7.2 billion increase in GDP for the provinces, 894 million tax payback to the provinces, and 1.9 billion tax revenue to the federal government over 20 years, while having an employment impact of at least 12,000 direct, indirect, and induced jobs. And this is not going into referring to the impacts that are difficult to measure, which is the social impacts and the educational impacts and the growth and the growth of the communities. And we can't keep staring that down and saying, well, that doesn't mean anything, because until that time, there was no data to show the value of this corridor. I'll just skip through some of the projects that we've done in the last year. There's a lot of work between meetings and behind the scenes and working with alliances. As demonstrated today, the speakers are basically our allies in terms of lobbying and moving forward into reasons and for the road to be completed. And the other thing we've been doing behind the scenes is researching cost-effective and out-of-the-box control contacts in a team effort to assist governments in ways and means of bringing solution to getting this road completed. On July 12, 2018, when we had met with the Honorable Highways Minister Dave Merritt in the fall of 2016 and presented him the case study that we had done, he expressed the desire to come up here and look at that 55 highway. On July 12th, that occasion happened. The Reeve of the RM of Moose Range, Reeve Churchill, Fred Bradshaw of the MLA of that constituency, Chris Odima, our secretariat. He acted basically as our guide. They knew key points that the ministers should observe. And myself spent the day touring 55 Highway and discussing the various aspects of it in possible ways. We've went in to see gravel pits and so on, all the aspects of looking at going forward. And the going forward work has been done because the first thing you need to do is make sure the bridges are up to par, and they haven't been, and that's being done. And you heard the report here on this from Doug a moment ago. Also, Chris and myself attended the annual, I think it's a 2-day meeting at Red Earth. That's their annual reporting meeting, and they asked our presence to be there, and I gave an update and a report and shared information and so on with them. So, going forward, we've got a meeting set up now with Honorable Minister Ron Schuler for April 24th, Wednesday, and we're just putting together the people that are going to be in the delegation and what we're going to talk about. And we've been kind of holding back meetings with both ministers, and it was basically probably somewhat my thinking and direction was that we don't want to meet just for the sake of meeting. We want to go there and talk about something that's valuable. And I feel after today's presentation and the products information and so on, I think it's important that we take a look at the options that are here and maybe move forward on that front. Okay, you'll read the rest of it. I've got just want to tie it up here. It has not been an easy process for our dedicated volunteers lobbying the Prairie Province governments that the North is important to the economy and culture of Western Canada. We need an efficient, safe, and economical highway that reflects growth. We have solutions to save on costs of construction and maintenance that are both innovative and practical. We just need governments to work outside the box and in partnership with Northern industry and the people. The investment made will have results. Our economic studies show these outcomes being in jobs, increased regional GDP, and safety. And I would hope that we even go into various discussions in terms of things, maybe a 3P type of approach or whatever. But we're serious about making some concrete moves, if we can, in the next 2 or 3 years to bring this to completion. And I just want to take the moment to thank all of the volunteers and all the support that this group has received and the contributions towards our war chest. And I'm using that as a wrong term because we're not at war with government. We're in partnership, but for lack of a better choice of words, I use that as as a fund that helps us do things and pay for things as we need to. And I just want to thank OCN for inviting us here and hosting this. And I really appreciate the support I'm getting from all communities. And I could go on. I almost feel too emotional to talk anymore, but it's just great. And I thank you very much for putting up with some of my guff. But anyway, I'll lay it to rest. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it.